was wondering, can you please do 107 Facts of Justice League?
If you've cracked open a comic book, been to the movies, or generally been alive in the past 50 years, you're probably familiar with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the other members of the DC Universe's prestigious Justice League. As individuals and as a team, the Justice League has had plenty of coverage over the years, but a certain generation of superhero lovers were first introduced to them in animated form. I'm Dan of Crunchlins Cartoons, and we're looking back on the animated history of Justice League. Are you a die-hard fan? Just wondering what all the fuss is about? Well, we've got something for everyone as Channel Frederator counts down 107 facts you should know about Justice League. Let's get started. Number 1. The Justice League had its first incarnation as the Justice Society of America, which appeared in DC's All-Star Comics in the 1940s. Interest in superheroes waned in the 50s and the series puttered out. Number 2. By March 1960, DC thought it was high time to modernise the Justice Society, whose original arc was deeply entrenched in World War II. Their replacement, the Justice League, premiered in The Brave and the Bold number 28. Not even number 1, number 28. Number 3, but don't go using League and Society interchangeably. The two groups had some different members. Any character with their own series was deemed ineligible for the Justice Society, which meant that Batman and Superman were literally too good for them. Number 4, the Justice League's original founding members were Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, and Aquaman. While the Avengers frequently goes through massive overhauls of their roster, the Justice League is a bit more stable. One of the newer iterations still features Martian Manhunter and the Green Lantern. Number 5. The Justice League is responsible for the creation of the Fantastic Four. When Marvel President Martin Goodman heard how well the Justice League was selling, he ordered Stan Lee to create a corresponding team of Marvel heroes. You know what they say? Why be original? Actually, that's terrible advice. Never mind. Number 6. The first animated adaptation of the Justice League was Superfriends, produced in 1973 by the infamous Hanna-Barbera. This show is a slightly more serious angle for the animation studio, who continues to be known for series like The Jetsons and The Flintstones. Wait, the Flintstones isn't serious? What? Number 7. The show created a number of original heroes, including Black Vulcan, Apache Chief, Samurai, and El Dorado. If you noticed a theme there, it's because Hanna-Barbera was trying to make the group more diverse. A valiant effort in theory, but many critics of the show pointed out that these characters were stereotypical and offensive. Number 8. You may also be wondering about the change of name. Hanna-Barbera worried that in the wake of Vietnam, Justice League sounded overly patriotic and militant. They didn't really fool anyone though. Number 9. The next animated Justice League would come about a mere 38 years later, when Cartoon Network premiered a new self-titled series on November 17, 2001. Number 10. The series was created and produced by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, who have quite the reputation in the DC animated universe, popularly referred to as DCAU. Their footprint is so large on the universe that the Timmverse and or Diniverse are actual things people talk about. Number 11. Don't believe us? One of Tim and Dini's major contributions to the DC universe was Batman villain Harley Quinn. Yep, she didn't exist before the animated series. Number 12. Tim was co-creator and producer on Batman the Animated Series in 1992, and Dini happened to be one of the principal writers. The duo went on to create and produce the series spin-off of sorts, Superman the Animated Series, in 1996. Number 13. Dini's work with DC extends well beyond the Timmverse. He also wrote the script for the acclaimed video game Batman Arkham City and worked on the series Gotham. Number 14. Tim and Dini are both heavily entrenched in the Warner Bros. Animation world. For instance, both worked on Tiny Toon Adventures and the subsequent Plucky Duck Show. Dini was also one of the producers on Duck Dodgers. Number 15. Tim originally wanted to be a comic book artist. Sadly, his dreams didn't come true, and he only went on to be one of the most celebrated directors of comic book based animation. Number 16. The Batman and Superman series were finished. Fans kept asking Tim about when he would create a Justice League series. This profoundly influenced the creation of the series. So remember kids, your voice matters. Number 17. Despite the high demand, Tim was initially hesitant because he knew juggling so many beloved characters would be incredibly difficult, and he admits he was right. The creators also had to wait for technology to advance to the point where they could create a visually striking show. Number 18. One major challenge was digging through DC's catalogue to find the real mega villains who could realistically take on the Justice League. Any minor villain would have caused maybe a 3-minute episode, Superman and Martian Manhunter would teach them a lesson pretty damn fast. Number 19. The creators also took great pains to sculpt the characters so that their powers didn't overlap. After all, the characters were originally not created to work together. To help build chemistry between their main characters, the team decided to jettison each hero's supporting characters so that the League would be forced to interact with each other. Number 20. The 2 seasons that make up the original Justice League series were almost entirely planned out from the very beginning of the show. Tim referred to the plan as the Justice League Bible. Number 21. For Season 1, the show's creators decided to allow stylistic aspects to take a back seat, in the hopes that the show would subsequently feel grounded as if it occurred in the real world. Tim and the other producers feel this was a mistake and corrected themselves for later seasons. Number 22. Tim pitched the idea of the League wearing uniform costumes. He admits now it was a bad idea, and before the pitch had even finished, DC President Paul Levitt shut him down saying, "You cannot touch them!" Number 23. The show's initial lineup differed from the comic books. We traded Aquaman, and added both Hawkgirl and the Flash. Gotta admit, 2 for 1 is a pretty good deal. Besides, Aquaman gets cameos later in the series. Number 24. Additionally, the Batman and Superman featured in the Justice League are the exact same people as the Batman and Superman featured in Tim's series from the 90s, which is exactly the kind of epic detail that gets my nerd heart thumping. Number 25. Many of the voice actors in Justice League are DCAU staples. While George Newbern didn't play good old Clark in Superman the Animated Series, he plays Superman on several titles after the Justice League, such as Superman vs. the Elite. Number 26. One of the many benefits of being from Krypton is the incredibly slowed aging process. Another Timverse show, Batman Beyond, shows Superman in 2040 with barely a wrinkle. So if you didn't already hate him for being a goody two-shoes, you'll really hate how great this guy is looking at 65. Number 27. Speaking of weird aging, Superman's design actually changed from Superman the Animated Series to the Justice League. In the latter, he looks slightly older. Fans generally didn't like the design, and so Superman effectively got younger as the show went on. Number 28. Though Superman is strong, he's rarely at full power, and when he is, he describes the world around to be like cardboard and is able to easily throw people through multiple buildings with a single punch. As a rule of thumb, if Superman is throwing you through more than one building, you might need to reevaluate your life decisions. Number 29. Spoilers. When Superman, dies in episode Hereafter, Tim wanted to get Captain Marvel to replace him instead of Lobo. However, DC wouldn't give Tim the rights, and he was forced to reconsider the replacement. Lobo arose when Tim was brainstorming heroes that would defy fans' expectations, and he claims Lobo's plot arc was written within 5 minutes of the realization. Number 30. Despite having the nickname Man of Steel, Superman has a few weaknesses. Everyone knows about kryptonite. Superman is essentially solar powered, so as long as he doesn't live in Seattle or London, he's okay. He can't see through lead, but neither can we, so that's fine. But one nifty and effective way to take down Superman is through the use of magic. Superman should thank his lucky stars that he doesn't exist in the same universe as Voldemort.
Hey guys, I'm Noreen, and sorry for the interruption, but we have really exciting news for you guys. We have a brand new channel called Mic Drop, and if you like 107 Facts, you're gonna love 107 Facts about your favorite musicians. You have Justin Bieber, One Direction, Taylor Swift, Snoop Dogg, you name it, we've got it. So come hang out at Mic Drop by clicking the link at the end of the video or the link in the section below. Alright, back to more Justice League.
Number 31. Even with those weaknesses, Superman is still basically all-powerful, which is why many fans were confused when the hero appeared significantly weaker in the early episodes of the Justice League. Tim says they didn't really realise they were doing it, but admits it was something of a dramatic crutch. If Superman's in trouble, then the situation must really be bad. Number 32. Initially, there was a lot of pressure from fans for a romance between Superman and Wonder Woman. This prospect absolutely confounded and infuriated Tim, since Superman would inevitably end up with Lois. Besides, we think they might have found a more interesting match for Wonder Woman. Number 33. The Wonder Woman of Justice League is much different from the one in the comics. In the show, she's depicted as a newer hero who only recently left her home. She's the daughter of the Queen of the Amazon, Hippolyta, and Wonder Woman was actually sculpted from clay by Hades, so it's like Pygmalion. Kind of. Number 34. Princess Diana, aka Wonder Woman, is played by Susan Eisenberg, who's the defining actress for the character. Her most recent appearance as Wonder Woman was on The Daily Show. Not that Daily Show. In 2015. Number 35. Wonder Woman is known to invoke the Greek goddess Hera in her exclamations. Hera is the queen of the Greek gods, known for her various, tussles with her husband Zeus. Number 36. Even though Wonder Woman is known for her bullet-deflecting bracelets and her indestructible lasso, they weren't initially hers, but since her lasso compels others to tell the truth, if you ever want to hear where she got them, you can just use her own weapon against her. Shouldn't be too hard. She's only one of the strongest people in the universe. Number 37. Still, Wonder Woman has been shown to be unlucky when it comes to transformations. In the animated series alone, she's been turned into a child once with the rest of the Justice League, an ape by Gorilla Grodd, and even into a pig. Number 38. The version of the Flash in the Justice League is consistent with his other appearances in the Timverse, most notably on the Superman series, the wisecracking comic relief with an eye out for the ladies. Number 39. In the DC animated universe, he's the first and original Flash, but in the comics, he's the third, coming after Jay Garrick and his uncle Barry Allen. Wally West was the first sidekick to the original, second Flash, taking on the very inventive name, Kid Flash. Number 40. Despite this change of continuity, the series Flash Museum has the costumes of past Flashes as well as Kid Flashes. The inclusion was one of many subtle nods to the more hardcore comic book fans amongst their audience. Number 41. In the comics, Barry Allen was a forensic scientist, and Wally West is a mechanic employed by the police department. Since Wally works as a forensic scientist for the Central City Police Department in the DCAU, many fans have speculated that the two Flashes have been meshed together for the purposes of the new show. Number 42. The Flash is voiced by Michael Rosenbaum, who also has one other major DC character in his roster. On Smallville, he played none other than Lex Luthor. Number 43. Carl Lumbly played the Martian Manhunter in the Justice League, as well as the character's 3-episode-long appearance in the series Static Shock. Lumbly's appearance on the Justice League ran simultaneously with his tenure as Agent Marcus Dixon on the J.J. Abrams series Alias. Number 44. John Johns is rarely referred to as the Martian Manhunter, even though the moniker made him famous. He prefers to just go by his given name because his superhero persona is not an alter ego. I mean, it would be hard for him to have an alter ego, really. Number 45. The Manhunter bit came from his original job on Mars as a police officer. Of course, just calling him a police officer is a bit of an understatement. Johns is one of the most powerful beings in the DC universe. Number 46. Like Superman, the series downgraded Johns' powers from the comics so he could actually be a team player. For example, he lost his potential to turn invisible and his telekinetic ability, as well as unlimited invulnerability. So basically, if Superman and John had all the powers they had in the comic books, it'd be a pretty one-sided series. Number 47. Although Johns is the only explicit Martian in the series, in the DC comic universe there are actually different races of Martians. The Imperium Walkers from the episode Secret Origins look an awful lot like the White Martians from the comics, except, you know, they're not from Mars. Number 48. In the comics, John has a comedic fondness for Oreo cookies, though for legal reasons the name was changed to Choco Sandwich Cookies. The series nods to this adoration in the episode Comfort and Joy. Number 49. John has had 2 wives. One, a Martian that died during the Imperium invasion, the other, a human who he met during an extended leave from the Justice League. Maybe those other perennial bachelors could learn a thing or two from John and take a vacation once in a while. I'm looking at you, Batman. Number 50. John Stewart is one of many Green Lanterns who are part of the Green Lantern Corps, a group of intergalactic warriors that act as a police force for the universe. So, like the Flash, in the comics there are multiple Green Lanterns, and no, he's not that John Stewart. Let's get that out of the way right now. Number 51. As the name suggests, the Green Lantern's namesake is the green ring that is the source of all his power. In the comics, it's charged by sheer willpower, but in the series, it runs on a battery. Such is the modern age. Number 52. John Stewart was DC's first black superhero. Many DC fans who grew up on this show assumed John was the only Green Lantern, to the point that when Ryan Reynolds was cast for the 2011 film, fans were tremendously confused. Number 53. In the comics, John Stewart is actually a backup Lantern, who was already in the Lantern Corps when the primary Green Lantern of Earth, Hal Jordan, quit for a while. Tim and Dini chose Stewart for the sake of diversity, but it's quite the homage to the Justice League series that John Stewart's popularity has arguably eclipsed the original Green Lanterns. Number 54. Another major departure point from the series source material is that in the comics, Hal Jordan, not John Stewart, was the Green Lantern who helped form the original Justice League, but also Hal Jordan just doesn't exist in this show, so... Number 55. Actually, we lied. Sorry. In the alternate future created by Kronos, Hal Jordan gets to be the Green Lantern instead of John, and naturally, Hal's voiced by Adam Baldwin. In case you don't have your Baldwin straight, he's the Full Metal Jacket Independence Day Baldwin. Number 56. Our Green Lantern is voiced by Phil LaMarr, who played Marvin in Pulp Fiction, which is objectively awesome. He also plays Hermes in Futurama, which is also objectively awesome. And was Samurai Jack himself, which is also... You get the point. Number 57. Like the Flash, he seems to have a bit of a thing for superpowered ladies, as he has had relationships with his former Green Lantern trainer, Kat Matui, Vixen, another member of the expanded Justice League, and of course, Hawkgirl. I guess in this universe, girls like a guy who wears jewellery. Duly noted, DC Animated Universe. Number 58. Hawkgirl is played by Maria Canals-Barrera, who was simultaneously starring as Paulina in the Nicktoon Danny Phantom. Canals-Barrera's other major foray into the superhero realm was playing She-Hulk in the video game Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Fate of Two Worlds. She's a DC traitor! Number 59. For the animated series, Aquaman was removed and Hawkgirl was added to the roster, albeit heavily redesigned. One of the key changes involved giving the DCAU version wings that grew out of her back, whereas her comic book counterpart had synthetic wings. Number 60. Hawkgirl was created as a foil for Hawkman, and like all good female foils, she was cornered into being his assistant and girlfriend/wife. Fortunately, in Justice League Unlimited, their roles effectively reverse. Hawkman is a human who believes he is the reincarnation of an ancient person of Hawkgirl's race, and she is his long-lost lover. Serves him right. Number 61. Though Hawkgirl has wings, she doesn't always need to use them, as she is shown flying and hovering without their aid. Makes perfect sense. Number 62. As was mentioned earlier, Hawkgirl becomes romantically involved with the Green Lantern John Stewart. This is a bit awkward, since she was engaged to Thangarian Commander Hro Talak during her tenure on the Justice League. Ouch. Number 63. Remember about 40 facts ago when we talked about the Justice League Bible? Though the story wasn't worked out, Tim knew from the start that Hawkgirl was going to betray the League, and so, for publicity purposes, the show's writers created a fake backstory and disinformation campaign to keep Hawkgirl's secret a complete surprise. Number 64. The decision to replace Aquaman with Hawkgirl was twofold. Tim and Dini initially wanted Hawkman, but weren't satisfied with a lineup that only had one woman. Hawkgirl stepped in to play off of Wonder Woman. Number 65. Producer James Tucker describes the Aquaman from the comics at the time as similar to King Arthur. Tucker and the rest of the Justice League team wanted to design Aquaman's look and personality to be more like a barbarian. Number 66. Okay, it's finally Batman time. Batman isn't considered a full member of the Tim vs. Justice League. Instead, he chose to take the position part-time so he can still keep an eye on Gotham. But this way, Batman can stay out of the fray during situations where he may not be of much assistance, like underwater, for instance. But also, Batman! Number 67. Batman is famously played by Kevin Conroy, who reprised the role from Batman the Animated Series, and basically has been Batman ever since. Number 68. In fact, Kevin Conroy is the longest running Batman actor. He debuted in 1992 and played the hero as recently as the 2015 video game Batman Arkham Knight. He even brought out the voice while helping in relief efforts for 9/11 to raise morale. Number 69. He was also the first animated Batman to use two distinct voices for Batman and Bruce Wayne. He used his own voice for Bruce and the voice he auditioned with for Batman. Conroy suggested the technique because he believed that since Bruce Wayne was a celebrity in Gotham, there was no way his voice would never get recognised while he was Batman. Number 70. Despite his incredible intellect and strength, Batman seems to have a bad habit of letting important people know his identity. In the DCAU, that list included Ra's al Ghul, Hugo Strange, Catwoman, Daily Planet reporter Lois Lane, his Justice League allies, and of course, the Joker. Come on, Bruce. The Joker? Number 71. The Justice League is the first time in the DC universe that Wonder Woman has had a relationship with Batman. Their first kiss was a total surprise to established DC fans, but the organic way the romance blossomed became one of the series' most celebrated qualities. Number 72. Batman and Flash are the only League members who are unable to fly. Batman is usually seen in his Batwing, while Flash is simply carried by other heroes. That's gotta be kinda demeaning. To be the fastest being on Earth, but to still have to be carried around like a toddler all the time. Number 73. Batman is known for his strong mental fortitude, his physical prowess, and of course, his access to sweet technology. He provided the League with their space station headquarters known as the Watchtower. Definitely helps to be an orphan billionaire sometimes. Batman referred to the project as a blind spot in the Wayne Industries R&D budget. Number 74. In the comics, the League's headquarters moved around quite a bit. From a secret sanctuary in Rhode Island, then to a satellite orbiting the Earth, sound familiar, to an abandoned factory in Detroit, and then eventually the Watchtower, which in the comic world was nestled into the moon. Number 75. Despite being the heroes of Earth, humans are the minority race in the Justice League. Superman, Martian Manhunter and Hawkgirl are all aliens, and Wonder Woman is an Amazonian, so kinda human. So what are you trying to say, DC? Humans not good enough for you, Number 76. In the Justice League episode Legends, the Justice League stumbles upon an alternate universe and meet a group of heroes reminiscent of the Superfriends, comically titled the Justice Guild. It's a nice sentiment, guys. Actually, comic books do it all the time. Number 77. In the first take of the episode Maid of Honor, Vandal Savage literally takes a crown, reminiscent of the Royal British Crown, and places it on his head to indicate his military dominance. Tim said as soon as they got the footage back, the crew realised the shot didn't work. Nice to know Vandal Savage just had a crown lying around, though. Number 78. The villain who appears in the most episodes is Lex Luthor. Actually, Lex Luthor is the character that appears the most in the series outside the core league, and in case you're wondering, John Johns, not Superman, appears in the most episodes. Granted, he beat Superman by 1 episode, but still, hooray for the underdog. Number 79. Lex Luthor is voiced by Clancy Brown, who you probably know much better as Mr. Krabs. As different as the characters are, at least they both have a healthy appreciation for money. Number 80. To the joy of everyone who isn't fighting him, the Joker also shows up relatively often, and of course the Joker is voiced by his classic Batman the Animated Series voice actor, Mark Hamill. If before now you somehow managed to escape the tidbit that the Joker is voiced by Luke Skywalker, we're honoured to be the ones that blew your mind. Number 81. The schedule for the Justice League was so hectic that the show employed 3 different composers to score it. The composers would rotate episodes to keep up with the production while still submitting high quality work. Number 82. All 3 composers, Lolita Ritmanis, Michael McChristian and Christopher Carter, have been with the Timverse since the very beginning. Carter refers to the orchestral sound of the Justice League score as a return to the epic sound that trademarked the Batman and Superman series. Number 83. Even though each composer has separate projects, the 3 work together a lot. Besides Batman and Superman, they've also collaborated on music for Teen Titans, Young Justice, and the upcoming Batman film, The Killing Joke. Number 84. The first Justice League theme song was written by Lolita Ritmanis, who also did a lot of work on the multitude of Ben 10 series. Number 85. After the first 2 seasons, the Bibled ones, the series morphed into the Justice League Unlimited. The starkest difference was the expansion of the lineup, away from the 7 heroes we'd become used to. 50 different heroes were featured in Unlimited's first episode alone. Number 86. Justice League Unlimited is Bruce Timm's favourite show that he's ever created. He refers to it as the one I actually go back to and watch. And if you're a creative, you realise that being able to actually sit down and enjoy something you've slaved away on is kind of a big deal. Number 87. The Justice League Unlimited premiered on July 31st, 2004 and ran for 3 seasons until May 13th, 2006. Number 88. The inclusion of more Justice League members also brings along some interesting celebrity cameos. Among the extended voice cast is John C. McGinley of Scrubs fame as Atom, Jeremy Piven as Elongated Man, Fred Savage as Hawk, Ron Perlman as Orion, Nathan Fillion as Vigilante, and Jennifer Hale as Zatanna, to name a few. Number 89. Aquagirl is voiced by Jodie Benson, who is better known for playing Ariel in Disney's The Little Mermaid. Even for such a small part, they still went with an expert in voicing aquatic humans. Number 90. The Royal Flush Gang in Justice League is voiced by the main cast of the 2003 Teen Titans cartoon, Greg Sipes, Carey Payton, Tara Strong, Hendon Walsh, and Scott Menville. Number 91. Static Shock co-creator and Milestone Media founder Dwayne McDuffie was one of the main writers and producers for the Justice League from 2003 onward. Tim's ability to sync with McDuffie was truly unique and never undersells the writer's influence on the show. Number 92. When the Justice League Unlimited wrapped up in 2006, it marked the end of a 14-year-long continuous animated universe that began with Batman the Animated Series. Number 93. The episode For the Man Who Has Everything was an adaptation of a Superman story that appeared in the comic books. The original was written by Dave Gibbons and Alan Moore, you know, the Watchmen guy. Number 94. Even when dealing with longer story arcs, such as the Cadmus arc, Tim still strove to write individual shows that could be enjoyed on a standalone basis. He says it was one of the hardest struggles of writing the series. Number 95. McDuffie attributes a lot of the foreshadowing from previous seasons leading up to the Cadmus arc as luck. Foreshadowing was closer to curating than anything else. Number 96. Though not directly related to the series, Young Justice is considered a spiritual successor to these shows, starring the sidekicks to many of the heroes from the Justice League, and Kid Flash, who's always Wally West. It's a different universe with different producers, just don't worry about it. Number 97. In the more recent series, Batman the Brave and the Bold, Batman founds the Justice League International. The members are Batman, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, Fire, Ice, Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Rip Hunter, Shazam, Question, Captain Atom, Rocket Red, Superman, Wonder Woman, Plastic Man, Robin, Kid Flash, and Green Arrow. Again, this isn't the Timverse, so don't get too upset about the bloated roster. Number 98. In 2015, Tim returned to the Justice League with a series of shorts entitled Justice League, Gods and Monsters. Unfortunately, the film doesn't share the original series voice cast, but don't let that deter you. Number 99. The film explores an alternate timeline from the one characterising the earlier Justice League series, where Wonder Woman, Superman and Batman are literally entirely different people. Clark Kent? Not even a little bit. Number 100. Gods and Monsters is being routinely called the darkest Justice League yet. Part of that has to do with Tim's belief that the superhero code of being unable to kill anyone is artificial and doesn't make sense for a maturing audience. Number 101. Tim's been wanting to explore Batman's more vampiric side ever since Batman the Animated Series. Tim wanted to temporarily turn Batman into a vampire, but Fox Kids wouldn't allow it. But in Gods and Monsters, he finally got his chance, and Kirk Langstrom proved the perfect instrument, since Tim was fond of the character but never overused him. Number 102. As far as Tim is concerned, in this alternate universe, the Waynes stayed at home and watched TV on the night of the infamous murder, and so Bruce had no reason to become Batman. Just another normal billionaire schlub. Number 103. Tim got the idea for the alternate Superman very quickly. Make him the son of Zod instead of Jor-El. He describes the quick fix as an entirely different animal right out of the gate. Yes he is. Number 104. Originally Tim wanted to essentially make Wonder Woman Athena, the daughter of Zeus, but then the revamped DC New 52 comics came out and, oh hey, Wonder Woman's the daughter of Athena now. Instead, the idea became, what if Jack Kirby designed Olympia in 1967? Number 105. This January, a new series entitled Justice League Action was announced to premiere on Cartoon Network later in 2016. Number 106. Although Tim will not be returning to the helm, both Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill will be reprising their roles as Batman and the Joker, respectively. Number 107. But fortunately for humanity, there's a project looming in our near futures that will feature Hamill, Conroy, and Bruce Timm. A film adaptation of Alan Moore's Joker origin story, The Killing Joke. Thanks for watching 107 Facts You Should Know About Justice League. Which was your favourite? Did we miss a fact you love? Let us know in the comments. Frederator's online store Stash Riot is offering a $1,000 gift card to buy your plushies, t-shirts and other cool stuff. There's even an awesome Crunchlins cartoon shop, just saying. To enter the sweepstakes, all you need is an email address. Contest rules apply and the link's in the description. Also, all shipping in the US is free, and if you're outside the US, Stash Riot is taking $5 off the shipping costs. Both offers end April 30th. We hope you enjoyed this 107 Facts video, and if you'd like to watch another, click the annotations or the links in the description. New videos are dropping every week, so be sure to subscribe to Channel Frederator and Crunchlins so you don't miss out. And remember, Frederator loves you.
Hi guys, I love watching all your videos and 107 Facts videos, but can you guys make 107 Facts about anime One Punch Man?